Stop! Stop fighting! Now!
Why?
We must unite to fight King Ghidorah!
But I'm fighting him right now, and I'm totally winning.
Yeah, right, you're winning. I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna...
Oh, stop! But what about the humans?
Why should we care about the humans? They always bully us.
Yeah, they keep hitting me with rocks and missiles and electricity. I don't like it.
But how about Earth?
Well, what about Earth?
Look, you live on it. Earth. You know,
Yeah?
if it's gone, where will you fight?
You know, Godzilla? She's right. She's right. We can't fight without Earth.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We can't fight without Earth.
Right, so you'll join forces?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, shake on it.
Shake your hand.
Now make them kiss. I said what I said.
Space super monster attacks the Earth. Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, and the monster war of the century. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Welcome back to Entertainment Rebooted, specifically Cinema Revisited, Godzilla. As always, I am joined by Pat, the Great and Overpowered. Tonight's film was none other than 1964's Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Take it away, Pat, with a recap for those who have not seen this fantastic battle of the century.
Century. Alrighty. We start off with a reporter with UFO conspiracists waiting to get reports from outer space. That doesn't happen, though, because they say they can read her brain waves and know that she's skeptical.
Translation, the UFO didn't show up because one person did not believe.
Yep.
And they were offended that that one person did not believe.
Same reason Tinkerbell couldn't fly. One person.
Logic.
Yeah. Then we cut to her brother. And he is being assigned as the bodyguard for the Princess of Singona.
Some small country that definitely exists.
Yes. And they have the top fashion. Like, the only person that beats them fashion-wise is the chief of Mothra's tribe on Infinite Island and his just glorious hat.
It's true. But it's impossible to defeat the man with an infant on his head.
Yes, it is. She is coming to Japan to escape an assassination attempt. We see her flying to Japan, and she is warned by a floating entity in the sky.
Like a meteor, but not.
Yes, to run away. To get out now, so she
just
walks
bails.
out. She walks out the door of the plane while it's in the air.
Bails. No parachute.
And then her plane blows up. A meteor strikes down in the mountains. And they go to investigate it. It is magnetic. It is either a magnetic force or something gravity-like, but not exactly the same.
Even though it only attracts metal.
Yes.
Although it does attract rocks, but you can assume rocks have some metal in them.
I mean, iron.
Iron.
Yeah. I thought they were iron rocks. Japan's got a lot of iron rocks.
Magneto rock.
Yeah. Then we hear the princess has died from the policeman. The sister is investigating the mysteries of the 20th century. And we hear of a prophet in the square. The prophet is warning people to stay away from the mountain. She says she is from Venus. And that something odd will happen at the mountain.
Speaking of things that are odd, boy, she looks familiar.
Yes, she does. But we don't know that yet, but we do. She is actually the princess, but she's been taken over by the extraterrestrial entity in the sky. Possibly.
Or it was just inherent.
Or, yeah, she might have already been inside of her and just like in a subconscious sleep, and then she awoke when the threat arose.
She may have been Cosby'd by the Venusians.
She may have been Cosby by the doctor.
She
Okay.
was.
Speaking
of things that aren't explained well. Or ever.
She's warning that the Earth's doom is coming, and that they then don't believe her.
Of course.
She disappears. The news reporter and their people are like, you know what? We should get her, and we should make her like a big attraction. We then see the little spirit people from Infant Island on a TV show.
Because, you need them.
Yes.
You need the little people.
Yep.
From Infant Island.
Yeah.
Because, dang, you gotta have a banger.
Yep.
With no lyrics when you actually want to know what they're saying.
Yes.
Anyway.
But two little kids wanted to meet Mothra. So they met the little children, the little spirits. The spirits sang their song and were allowing everyone to see Mothra. And we see the magnificent hat again. Such a magnificent hat.
I can die happy.
Yep.
We need to get one of those hats.
We do.
Like, by the end of this podcast, we should, like...
Both?
I would totally wear that hat.
Mm-hmm.
And you should get one of the little, like, marshmallow ones.
I don't want the marshmallow one.
You don't want the marshmallow one?
I like the...
But only one of us can have the giant feather hat.
We'll have to fight over it.
Speaking of battles for the century, we need a new one. Pat and I will fight. In the comments below, who do you think deserves to wear that? Who gets to wear the crown?
Who gets the hat? Who can handle its power? I'm telling you, look at this. I got the head for it.
I don't know, man. I got a pretty big head. I'm so important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Back to it. The prophet, who is the Venusian. Yeah, Venusian.
Venusian?
Venusian.
Yeah, it's Venusian. I think that's how they spell it out. It's like Venusian.
Yeah, it sounds wrong.
The one who's full of crack.
Yeah. She appears at the active volcano site, warning everyone to run away because something terrible is going to happen.
Named Rodan.
Yep, Rodan shall awaken.
Because Rodan is here.
Yes.
And everybody says, there's no such thing as a Rodan.
Yep. And then a man's hat gets blown into a crater. Another guy bids his life to get it back for 200 yen.
That's like $10.
He goes down there, he gets the hat, he's like, ha ha ha, look at this, I got the hat. And then Rodan appears.
Well, giant monster appears and everybody just says, oh crap, it's Rodan.
Yep. They all start running away. Rodan flaps his wing and is like just destroying everything with this wind force. We go to see the tiny people leave. The prophet appears again and just says,
yo, bro, don't be on that boat.
Don't let the ship leave. Don't be on the ship. And the captain is like, yo, I didn't approve of that. Get her off of here.
I'm sorry, is she captain? Is she wearing a fancy hat? I don't think so.
Nope.
Get her out of here.
News reporter takes the prophet to hotel. The person that's trying to kill the princess is also at the hotel.
Speaking of which, this person's been following her around, like trying to find her this entire time.
Yes.
But he just keeps accidentally on her and her information.
Yeah.
Or where she's located, because her safety does not matter.
Nope. The police officer goes to the hotel and interrupts the assassination plot. The tiny people snuck off of the ship, and they're like, "Why'd you tell them to get off the ship?" And she's like, "It's too late now." We cut to the ship. We see whales swimming away from something, and what rises from the deep but Godzilla.
And boy, is he looking cuter than ever.
Yeah, he looks like
he's actually kind of adorable in this one.
He looks like a cat dog mixture, and his eyes move, and he is adorable, and I just want to pet his belly. Don't you want to pet his belly?
Nope. I don't want to approach the giant radioactive lizard.
I want to pet his belly. I stand by that. He lets loose on the ship. It starts on fire. He's heading towards Tokyo. Rodan is flying around in Japan, just wrecking stuff. The professor is studying the rock, which is growing. The meteorite that crashed, which is growing, which, meteorites don't do. But it's growing and randomly having phases of magnetism.
Like space rocks do.
Yeah, because space rocks be space rocks.
They'd be rocking it.
They take the prophet from the hotel to a psychiatrist lab.
But not before she's almost assassinated in the hotel, because it just so happens that the assassin, Mr. Cool Sunglasses, and his sidekick, Hansy McCanns,
Yes.
are in the room across the hall.
Right across the hall.
Conveniently.
So convenient.
And Hansy McCannsy is just opening the door right when the princess shows up the first time. But anyway, They try to kill her, escape through the window next to the door.
The door was unlocked.
And they decide to take her to a psychiatric facility.
Yes. They take her to the psychiatrist, and he's like, you know what? She's completely sane.
Because it's totally sane to dead-eye say, I am from Venus.
I am from Venus. My people fled here when King Ghidorah destroyed our planet.
5,000 years ago.
We lost the rest of our powers, but we remain the power to see the future.
But only that power.
And now I have come to warn the people of Earth.
About the greatest threat. Aliens. Specifically alien, three-headed monster alien.
Yep. King Ghidorah. He's like, you know what? She seems sane, but I'll start a new therapy of psychiatric medicine to see if I can shake something loose.
And it's not psychiatric medicine. He first is like, bro, I'm going to give her a hypnotic.
Oh,
and if that doesn't work,
psychohypnotic, yeah.
I'm going to give her a psychohypnotic. And if that doesn't work,
we're going to shock her.
Up to 500 volts. But I have a machine that goes up to 3,000. Don't ask me why.
Yep.
And the controls are not in this room. They're in the hall.
Yep.
Don't ask me why.
Yep. So news reporter takes the tiny spirit people to talk to the Ministry of Defense because Godzilla and Rodan are fighting and they're just wrecking everything right now.
And Ghidorah has emerged.
Ghidorah cracks out of the meteorite and he forms in a blast of plasma.
It's like lightning, like plasma lightning.
Yeah. And he's just flapping around. His heads are going he's blasting them. Choo, 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 choo.
We're talking wacky inflatable arm man flailing around with his heads, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're just at random.
Just blasting lightning.
Don't matter where it's going. Just
decimating everything. And they're like, our self-defense forces are trying to do the best we can to fight everyone, but we're also talking to the global united force, and we're just trying to do the best we can. They're giant monsters, man.
I mean, what do you want us to do? Throw nukes at them?
Yeah,
we're doing the best we can,
yeah.
And we're also going to appeal to a higher power.
Mothra.
And other higher powers, because we'll take whatever we can.
Yeah. Little spirit people call upon Mothra. Mothra comes to Japan.
Immediately, just
swims right on over. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh.
And Mothra, by the way, is not like moth form. She's not fully grown.
She's
she
still
is
in her larvae form.
Yeah.
The doctor is trying the shock therapy. The assassins break into the psychiatric hospital through a window.
Because how
Handsy Mickey opened the window.
How is his handsy supposed to get in?
Yeah. They set the electric shock thing from 500 volts to 3,000 volts. Because, the controls are outside the room.
And Mr. Cool Glasses has a line, and he just goes, "We don't even need to get our hands dirty," and he turns it all the way up to 3,000, and then remains so that he can have another shootout with Cop Face.
Yeah, the power gets cut because Rodan drops Godzilla on a transformer. Yeah,
right as they're about.
So lucky about that. They flee. They go onto the mountain. They stop because the spirits can sense that Mothra is here. They climb up the mountain and they see Mothra discussing with Rodan and Godzilla.
After one of the strangest fights ever.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they were just, like, across the way wiggling at each other.
Yeah, there's just a lot of wiggling. There's some trash talking happening, definitely.
Yeah, we thought about reenacting that, but we hope you enjoyed the cold open that we did.
Yes.
Let us know your thoughts about that in the comments below.
John.
I just want comments, Pat. It's only...
Okay. So Mothra ends up shooting both of them with their webs. She shoots Godzilla and Rodan laughs. Shoots Rodan, then Godzilla laughs.
Like belly laughing, like...
Yeah. Like
full on.
It is obvious they are laughing, not like a just movement. No, it's obvious laughter.
But the thing is that you can't help but laugh because literally their eyes are so like glassed over that when they get hit with stuff, they literally just sit there like...
Yeah. So Mothra's trying to convince them, and they're like, "Why should we care about people? People are bullies. They're always attacking us."
Yeah, they're bullies. We're bullied by them.
Yes.
Godzilla, who's been the scourge of the earth for what, 4 films now?
Yeah.
The humans are the bullies.
Yep.
I was just trying to atomic breath them.
Yep. And Rodan, he just woke up from his volcanic nap.
Yeah, he hasn't even actually run into anybody except for the one guy that like sold his soul for 200 yen.
Yeah.
Bullies.
They say they're not going to help. Mothra goes off to fight Ghidorah on her own.
That is one thing we changed.
Yes.
The only thing.
Yes, the only thing we changed.
Anyway.
Gojira immediately just like blasts Mothra like a
Like the moment that she shows up, he's just like, "Oh, that's so cute, lightning."
pew, lightning, pew, and Godzilla is just like, "Oh no, you ain't doing that to Mothra." And then Mothra and Rodan come in, they start fighting. The princess disappears. And she starts praying to a cosmic entity that was never mentioned before to save the Earth. And then, lo and behold, the assassin dude shows up with a sniper rifle.
Still wearing his sunglasses.
Still wearing his sunglasses after the car crash. He starts taking a pot shot at her. Grazes her head. She falls off a cliff.
Cop Face goes to her rescue.
Because, he pulls her into a cave. Then he tries to shoot at the other dude. He gets shot twice. The other dude eventually gets hit by an avalanche from the fight.
And he just bear hugs this boulder to his death.
Yeah. Then Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra team up. And they're like
They finally appear.
They're punching Gojira.
They're throwing rocks at him.
Throwing rocks at him.
Kicking rocks at him.
And
They're
then
coming at him from all angles.
Yep. Then Godzilla grabs Gojira's tail so he can't take off. Rodan takes Mothra up on his back so she can web him up from the sky. And then Godzilla throws Gojira off a cliff. And then Gojira just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. And he flies away.
Peace out.
Yeah.
He just flies away.
The princess loses her Venusian abilities and reappears as herself.
The princess.
She doesn't remember anything but the policeman saving her the 3 times.
Cop face.
Yes, they have like a very like will they won't they moment, but then she gets on a plane and leaves, and he just stays there.
Because he is cop face, not lover boy.
Yes.
And he gives her the most cop faces as she's flying away. Just goodbye, citizen.
Yes. Mothra heads off back to Infant Island with the spirits, and Godzilla and Rodan are just kind of chilling. They don't say where they go.
They're just chilling on the top of a mountain, just like,
yeah,
we did that. What did we do? Nobody knows, but we did it.
And that is the film.
Yeah. It was rough. Not gonna lie. This one was cheesy. It was fun.
Yeah.
But probably one of the roughest Godzilla movies we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Like King Kong was cheesy, but at least we had, the UN to tell us everything that had just happened.
Yeah.
And was going to happen.
Right.
Between every scene.
Yeah.
This one you didn't have that.
Yeah, you did not.
You almost missed them.
Yeah, almost.
Speaking of things that we didn't miss, let's get into some details. Let's talk the good, the bad, the ugly, the iconic of Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. Pat, what is the good of this film?
It is. Like all the other Godzillas, the modeling's still just peak level, man. Peak level modeling still.
It's still pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty on point.
Yeah. This one has like a nice balance of human includence, which is a word that I'm making up. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Includence. It doesn't overly go on human. It doesn't overly go on like, you can go heavy on Godzilla because it is a Godzilla movie. This one does a nice job of including that human factor and like how humans would be acting and interacting around what is essentially a natural calamity that can move and breathe atomic breath.
I would say that the good is the human interactions, but I think that it's one of those things where it's one thing about Godzilla that they do well is all of the human relationships and human interactions are all different in every film.
Yes.
They haven't been the same. We have different characters that interact in different ways.
Yeah.
The first film was mainly more about, like the natural disaster of Godzilla. The second one, we had more humans. And, we had Mr. Bride or Mr. Groom.
Yeah.
And
grooming.
Right. And their interaction. And then, we had the UN. I think that was. Yeah. And then the last film, we had the company that was trying to scam everybody with Mothra's eggs.
Yeah.
Egg. Sorry. Giant egg. 2 Mothras came out of 1 egg.
Oh, right. Sad news. One of the Mothras has passed away.
In a film that is not included in the set.
Because Mothra has its own series.
It's true. Mothra has her own series.
I think Rodan might have a series too.
Probably. They just name him.
Yeah.
They're just, yo, bro, Rodan's in that mountain.
Yeah.
He had a gun there somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway. But in this one, they have a brother and sister relationship. So you have a little bit of that family interaction. Both of them interact because the sister is a journalist. She works for the news company.
Yep.
And the brother is a police officer. At least it seems he's like a police detective guy.
Yeah.
He's like a peace officer.
Yeah,
he gets assigned as bodyguard to the princess.
He is some form of government authority with a gun.
Yeah. He's James Bond. But it is one of those things where I think it's just like a good thing to point out that they don't do what the Universal monsters, that I watch with DJ. Yeah. They tend to have very cookie cutter relationships where you have the main character, his love interest, and then a couple of wacky side characters or the villagers.
Yeah, there is definitely Yeah, I see that point. Like, there is a lot of changing up of the like relationships they showcase throughout the show.
Yeah.
This one, like, they kept like hinting at the possibility of a love interest, but they never really got into it.
It's true. And it feels fresh.
Yeah.
Like the human story feels fresh. If they had rehashed it or they had similar tropes and everything like that, I think it would make the film a lot worse.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that make things worse, not necessarily the worst thing about this movie that you warn people about, but what, in your opinions, the bad of this movie?
You know, they did kind of humanize Godzilla quite a bit. Like,
Yeah.
they gave him more like human reactions, and like the laughing scene, while that is hilarious, it's like I don't see like Godzilla or Rodan really laughing at each other.
Yeah. I agree with you. The bad really is kind of the monsters. Like, Godzilla is cute. He looks cute in this movie.
Yeah,
He does.
like I said, I want to
we're-
rub his belly.
Yeah, like we talk like, you know, we're joking about it, but it is a thing of actually like full on. The first movie, yeah, it's a guy in a suit, you can kind of tell, but he looks relatively like, you can
Yeah,
kind of say he's kind of terrifying.
yeah,
Even like the most recent one, sure, they show his face and there's a couple of scenes where he's kind of derpy looking,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go and say like Godzilla's cute. This one, full on, he's cute.
cute little guy.
Yeah, like it's kind of like
Coochie coochie coo.
but not cartoonized. Like,
Yeah.
this is a cartoonized version.
Yeah.
But he is just, his face is very, very small. He has like a cat nose.
Yeah, like he has like a cat nose, but like a dog eyes.
And so it's just one of those things where the monsters, when they kind of gave them the whole, like, they're talking and they're, you know, laughing and they're
Yeah.
ooh, 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 and they're doing all that.
Yeah,
I would agree. That's kind of bad.
they like broke the the continuity of they are not human beings. They are
Forces of nature
forces
that don't
in
care.
Yeah, like you can have them communicate with each other.
Yeah.
I can like there's conceivably they would be able to do that, but like it seems like they're literally just a bunch of humans talking a different language instead of like
And he literally says, "I don't speak monster." And the thing is that Mothra was interesting because Mothra was one of the only monsters that could be communicated, but she had specific spirits who were her emissaries. They were the people that communicated for her. So it makes sense that, like, that's what made her unique. And Mothra was already unique. She's the protector. She protects
she's
the island.
always been a protector, and she's not.
She's not a force of nature. She's not.
She
this
is a
giant,
force of nature, but she's not a destructive force.
That's where I'm at.
She's
Yeah.
like a
So I agree. Like the monsters just weren't done super great.
They were goofier.
Yeah, it was like purposely
Yeah.
more goofy. How about ugly? What's the thing you would warn somebody about if they were going to watch this movie? What's like the thing that you would just be like, okay, this, if you're watching this movie, this is something just warning you ahead of time.
You know, I have a bit of a hard time picking like what I would say was like the worst. Like the only thing I really did, the one thing that always like kept getting me is the assassin dude. Like he always like dude literally is like running through Japan and Tokyo while Godzilla's wrecking stuff and Rodan's flying around, and dude's just like constantly just like, oh, we gotta kill that princess. Oh, gotta kill that princess.
He is one-track minded, yeah.
Yeah, it just feels very forced. Like,
and it doesn't help that he is, and the people around him are cartoonish.
yeah, like they're like Hansy McGee. We call him that because he did this like weird like shoulder shuffle, then handshake.
He's always
like his hands are very like
doing.
Yeah,
He always has his hands out, and it's always like flamboyant when he's
yeah,
doing something. And then the assassin dude, we call him, you know, the Mr. Cool sunglasses, because he never takes off the sunglasses ever.
yeah.
And he has a couple of other henchmen, and they're not really of note, but they're equally kind of cartoony.
Yeah.
Like all the villains.
It's
are
like
just,
Sunday morning cartoon.
yeah,
Goons.
yeah. The only thing missing was the sound effects in the background.
Oh, and like the scar. Hey, we gotta go do it. Yeah.
I mean that is something to kind of warn you about. It's like that is like a major part of the human story.
Yeah.
And it's not good. I would say that the ugly, you can take it as a positive, you can take it as a negative. The ugly is this film is campy.
Yeah.
It is the one that's like, it's like the first one that's full blown campy.
Yeah.
Mothra had a kind of a message of like, not all monsters are evil, and they're dealing with Mothra, the force of good to destroy the force of evil. Godzilla versus King Kong, campy, it's a kaiju fight.
Yeah.
All of the films have been kind of campy. This one just kind of feels like it's not just campy. It's like they are leaning into it. They're just like, this isn't even a film that they're taking seriously.
Yeah.
Like the first Godzilla, they took very seriously.
Oh yeah.
The second Godzilla, same thing, very, very seriously. It's a janky film, but they took it seriously.
Yeah.
Godzilla versus King Kong, they still filmed it kind of seriously.
Yeah.
Mothra, same thing. This one, they kind of were just like, let's make the monsters do silly things.
Yeah.
They're wiggling around and they're barely even fighting. They're like taunting each other.
Yeah.
But they're not really like actually hitting each other.
Yeah.
I will say
Godzilla falls and like flails a lot.
He flails. Like flails. Like,
yeah, like
it's
turtle on back
like,
flail.
Well, you can almost like, it almost feels like he wasn't meant to, but they kept the film rolling.
Yeah.
And then they were just laughing so hard that they put it in the film.
Yeah.
Because he hits the ground and his little legs are like, let me up.
Yeah, like he gets knocked into a bridge and like his legs are just flailing, like you can kind of see his arms flailing a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they did give him longer arms than this one too.
Yeah.
Because like there's a few times where like he's actually able to reach behind his back.
That's true, yeah.
And like usually his arms are like straight up, just restricted at the elbow.
He is more of a T-Rex. This is where they're kind of more. Anyway, but yeah, I would say before somebody watches this that it's campy. It's just not a bad thing. It's just, it is one of those things where I think if you're going into this they're going to take it a little bit seriously like the other ones, you're going to be really thrown off.
Don't get us wrong.
It's not like ugly because it's awful. It's ugly because it's like, it's campy. That's what you warn people about before you watch it.
It's a good movie. It is a fun watch.
But it is very campy. Iconic.
It is the first one where he is teaming up with other monsters.
I agree.
Yeah.
That really is the iconic part. He's fighting alongside other monsters. It's a force that's bigger than Godzilla.
Yeah.
And we're actually rooting for Godzilla. That's another thing too. It's the first film you're actually kind of rooting for Godzilla.
I mean, I was kind of rooting for Godzilla in all the films.
Oh, especially the first one.
Yeah.
Screw all those kids.
Yep.
Mothra versus Godzilla. She stopped him before he had a snack. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. It was crunchy kids and a school teacher.
Cooked sushi.
Yep.
Mothra ruined it for everybody.
Forgot we did that. Okay.
Godzilla talks about, the humans bully him. No.
Yeah.
Mothra bullies him.
Yep.
And then she's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to make you feel real bad.
Here's my kids to beat you up.
Anyway. But there you have it. Good, bad, ugly, iconic. Let's say that somebody told you that they wanted to make Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, for a modern audience. What are some things that you would do to make it for a modern audience if you had control of this film?
I would take it a bit more serious.
Okay.
Like, I feel like returning back to the first one of, like, the first one had more grit. It just felt it had more grit.
It did. It was impactful. It was like...
Yeah.
It hit you in the gut.
Yeah. I would want to go back towards that a bit more. Dehumanize the monsters.
Yeah.
Like, there's quite a bit of this plot that would work like rather well, really well still. Like if you just serioused it up a little, dehumanize the monsters, and a bit more combat between Godzilla and Rodan.
Yeah.
Like I can still get along with the entire like assassin plot. If anything, I would just have him like. It's not like he's super committed to it once they're there, but like he's still gonna take a shot every time he sees her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's hunting her down. Like it's more like, oh wait, there she is. Like it's just, I'm fleeing, but I need to kill her anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Any other things?
No, I feel like it's a lot of small tweaks more than anything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need like a overhaul. It just needs some fine tuning.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those movies where it is kind of hard to really tweak it. It is more of a tweak than like a full kind of rewrite.
Yeah.
It's also kind of hard to do a full rewrite at 11 o'clock at night. So it's like,
Oh, it is, isn't it?
oh yeah, it's so late.
That's why I was so awake.
Pat coming into his element, me. Death is upon me.
Hey, Cap.
Okay, if I had to write this movie for like a modern audience, I would make it a bit more action-packed, Godzilla fighting Rodan. I would kind of make it a point where Mothra has to kind of unite them, but Mothra's the only one that's actually like they can talk to. They don't have like this really long conversation where they're translating and they're like, we must fight for all of mankind and humanity. We don't need the back and forth, and we definitely don't need them if they're doing a back and forth to have the accurate length of a conversation. It literally could be a thing of like
Mothra is telepathic.
Mothra's telepathic, and it could be a thing where you literally have it where she shows up and they're like, she's a worm. How is she going to really like put them down? And it's like she puts in like a lot of effort and like suppresses them mentally.
Yeah.
You could have a scene where it's like that, where it's like, oh, jeez, like.
Yeah.
And then they get images of Ghidorah and they go and they fight him together because they're like, oh, well, I mean, we could fight later.
Yeah.
Humanity kind of falling apart. Or not humanity, but the world falling apart, not a good thing.
Yeah.
As far as the human relationships and stuff, I would get rid of the fake country. I would make it where the assassin is going after her because she is a prophet.
Okay.
And the people, I would make it a thing where maybe, see, Ghidorah, it's kind of hard too because Ghidorah is a alien.
Yeah.
That comes from Venus. So I would just maybe make it a point where it's like
comes from beyond Venus.
Probably, but he destroyed Venus.
Yeah.
So maybe have it a thing where maybe he has like an emissary that's on Earth that's like
the beacon to draw him in.
Yeah, like it's maybe he has an organization that is like worships him as a god. And this prophet is warning people and it's setting things off.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they're after her. If you're going to do an assassination plot and she's going to be a prophet that's like warning people, I would have it more along those lines. It's so hard to tweak this movie because it is just one of those. The plot in and of itself is like far outlandish enough that they kind of did it right. I would have more combat. I'd have things more serious. Rodan is awful at fighting in this movie.
Yeah.
I would give him a little bit more where he's actually fighting, like maybe his beak actually is like really hurting.
Yeah.
Maybe he's using his legs and he's like.
He does a lot with
wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he has a lot with wind, but that's kind of the thing is he's outmatched by Godzilla because Godzilla literally is like, I can pick up this rock and throw it at you. I can kick this rock in your face. I have hands. I have atomic breath. I have all this stuff.
Though Rodan is immune to the atomic breath.
And maybe have a comment about that. Maybe be like, why isn't he catching on fire? I thought the atomic breath is...
Yeah.
Like, Rodan's like impervious to it.
I mean, he did sleep in a volcano.
He did. I would just maybe explain Rodan a little bit more. I understand that they kind of threw him in so that they could be like, if Ghidorah comes back and Godzilla is alone, it's more of a threat.
Yeah.
You're kind of like preemptively making him more powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where I don't know how I would necessarily rewrite it. I think you're right along the lines of like tweaks.
Yeah.
Tweaks would make it more interesting for a modern audience. And the thing is, the modern audience actually, I think, would really accept a film that's pretty campy.
Yeah.
As long as it did it respectfully. I mean, think about how successful Godzilla and King Kong is. Those films are campy. But you haven't seen them yet. But they're kind of campy.
They're good.
But people like them. Speaking of liking things, if you liked this video, my transition powers know no bounds. Man, I'm tired. If you like this video, be sure to leave us a like. Otherwise, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Ghidorah, the three-headed monster?
Comments are a lot easier than, reading someone's mind through the computer.
That is true. Only Pat possesses that power.
Yes, I am.
That's why he's overpowered.
You're going to hit the like button.
I guarantee you that there's somebody who's watching this that's like, and just for that, I'm unliking this video.
I knew you'd do that.
I do. Otherwise, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We do a lot of things related to movies. We do bad movies, old movies. We have a variety of different things. We're watching the Universal Monsters, Mel Brooks, Godzilla. Otherwise, we try to watch new movies every week if there's good movies out for reviews. And we also try to do a lot of other fun things on the channel. So if that interests you, this channel will interest you. Otherwise, we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.